I don't like Sarri.
Sarri should no longer be Chelsea manager.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression.
I want Sarri to leave the club.
What do you appoint attack-minded coach for? What do you appoint? To get battered and embarrassed 6-0 at Etihad?
You think this cycle is going to work? This rotating managers?
Sarri made a great substitution, changed the game. It's bonkers, it's a cult.
And you got fans calling him out. Shame on you. It's embarrassing. You don't know nothing about football, fam.
If he were to get sacked, who would we turn to?
Hello everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. We are still in exactly the same space, in the same spot. Ben, the lovely Ben, is still here, and we're going to have a debate. And much to yours lot's dislike, it's going to be: are we Sarri in or are we Sarri out? Still to this point, and I think this can actually just be an ongoing conversation because yes, he hasn't been at the club very long, and yes, I offended many people with my video, but I also had a lot of support from that too. And I think actually at the end of the day, I have to be honest and just say how I feel and just report on what actually everybody else is talking about. Because I think if you just Google Sarri, a load of stuff comes up from Sky Sports or BBC or wherever, and they're all very critical. So it's interesting for us to just sort of keep up to date with it and just see where we are. So I am going to vote. Well, I'm going to argue why I'm still out. Ben is going to argue why he is still in. I'm sure you'll all love him and hate me. But listen, judging our recent form, tell me the main reasons why you still back him as manager.
End of the day, I know we're outside the top four. We're at the FA Cup. We lost the final of the Carabao Cup. But realistically, if you compare that to other seasons, it's not the fact that Chelsea have turned to utter crap. Like we're still a decent team. Still a top four team, but it's more the fact that other teams have gotten much better. Like you look at last season, Man City became Centurions. A lot more teams are getting more points on average than they were in previous seasons. So, like I said, it's not the fact that Chelsea have slumped. It's more teams are just stepping up to the plate more, and the style.
But don't we have to keep up with that?
I mean, yeah, and Sarri can bring that to the game, but the problem is, previously we've been a massively defensive team. Under Mourinho, we were sit back, counter attack. Under Conte, we were sit back, counter attack, but bringing a little bit more attacking. But with Sarri, we're going to pass the ball around like Barcelona. We're going to play Sarri ball, and we're going to walk the ball into the net. And we need time to implement that into the game. And the best example, which I always use no matter where I go, is Gareth Southgate at England. He come in, he said, don't expect results right away. I need a few months, few years to implement the style I want into the team. And then you look at the World Cup last year, England had the best World Cup they've had since winning the World Cup, semi-finals. I don't think anyone would have believed we would have got there in the first place. And I believe Sarri, given the time, given the resources, has to bring that attacking player to Chelsea, but it's going to take time to change from defensive to attacking.
Okay, I agree with all your points. I do, because I would love for us to play a more attacking style of football that works. I really would, and I've never actually been much of a fan of, just overall, I think, sitting back and playing a defensive style of football. That's not the enjoyable football for me. The problem is with this at the moment is I just don't feel as if Sarri is... How can I put it? I don't think Sarri is bringing it to the team in the way that it should be. So, for instance, you say given the time and resources, we now know for another season we're not going to have many resources because they have denied our appeal for a delay on the transfer ban. That's not going to happen. So, for me at the moment, from what I've seen, number one, he doesn't make the right substitutions. He doesn't make them in time. And although it started off very well at the start of the season, I think it's just deteriorated as it's gone on. His lack of using the two youngsters in our team, which actually it's not just about them being young, it's about them just being really good players and wanting to play for Chelsea Football Club, which will be Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi. Granted, he's probably given them more time than other managers have, but it's not enough in my eyes because I don't see how you can continue to not... I mean, the whole thing with Hudson-Odoi actually is I think different to any other youngsters we've had try to come through recently because he, for me, is beyond by far the best one. The best one we've had. He's someone he's a player we need in the team. You don't get the likes of Bayern Munich wanting to buy him for X amount just off the bat, they think he's a talent and they want to get him in at a very young age. And I think that should scream out to you, we need to use this player. And it's beyond me why Sarri isn't using him more when, you know, Willian and Pedro don't always have the best of games. So for me, that's something that annoys me. Like I said, the system isn't really working. If we can't even salvage a win against Wolves at home, not taking anything away from Wolves, it is just a game we should win. Then how on earth is this team going to be able to work under his system for a whole other year? To me, and don't forget, the Premier League gets harder every single year. So it's not about me not liking Sarri's attacking style of play. I love attacking style of football. But you could say he was trying to do that against Wolves, and we didn't look like we were going to score at all. So I think to play attacking style of football, you really need to be showing that you can net goals. Whether you win a game 5-4, whatever, just you need to put some the ball in the back of the net, and we're not doing it. So it's very, very hard for me to defend him still. When at the start of the season, I was very all for him, and this may seem to you guys, and I've reiterated this in my sort of videos after that Sarri video, how it's not about me not liking him, and it's not about me thinking, oh, he's not good enough straight away. I'm seeing the same thing in him that I saw in Conte and Mourinho when things went sour with teammates or whoever just a lot earlier. You know, this happened with Conte after we'd already won a league. This happened with Mourinho after we'd already won a league. We haven't won a league yet, and I fail to believe that we're not performing well just because the system isn't working. I don't think the players are motivated to play for him. I don't think they're motivated to play for him at all.
I can see why Sarri under criticism. You know, he was losing some games horribly. You're going to be under criticism. I mean, Bournemouth 4-0, Man City 6-0, worst back-to-back away defeats in the Premier League. It doesn't go well for a manager, no matter where you're at. But Sarri isn't completely blamed. Like, he can only take some part of the blame. I mean, the board only gave him some backing, and the board at the moment haven't 100% backed the manager. They didn't back Conte. They never backed Mourinho.
But you know what I mean? So that people think that I have like a vendetta against Sarri and that I just think it's all his fault. It's actually not the case. I'm just looking at the bigger picture in the fact that I don't think Sarri's going to get the players that he wants. I don't think the system's working as it should be at the moment, although I agree with his ideology of how he wants to play football, but I'm just saying when he's putting, like, you know, pen to paper, it's not actually working. So it's not actually me hating Sarri individually, it's just everything externally that I see that isn't working. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, you want it to work, but you're looking at how it is at the moment, and where it's not working, you're just saying, why isn't it working, what's going on? But
we just can't, to me, we just can't lose 6-0 against City in this era of football. We can't, you know? And I think it's different if it was Huddersfield or Cardiff losing 6-0. That's understandable, but Chelsea Football Club, we should be really, really challenging for the, like, you know, for the title and for that game. I
mean, you got to this sort of point now where you're going to see teams dominating, and I'm never going to back the fact that, you know, we should lose 6-0. I'll never ever want Chelsea to lose, you know. But you're looking at some results. I mean, City at the moment can be one of the best teams in Europe. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they go near enough all the way in the Champions League. I think they've got the resources to win the Champions League. I think they're a very, very good team. And they are just absolutely ruthless. And the problem is we switched off at the Etihad, which is the worst mistake you could ever do. And City really, really punished us for that. But they've beaten teams 5-0 there. They've demolished United 6-1 at their own ground, you know. City have the players just to blow away teams, and we've done it before. You know, we beat Arsenal 6-0, you know, which was a very, very good game, great game, and that was under Mourinho. So it's just a case of that teams at their home ground are more comfortable to play their style of football, and in the upcoming seasons, you're probably going to see some big teams losing by a hell of a lot of amount to other big teams, just because these teams are just very comfortable at home and have the resources to blow away anyone they want.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So if you sort of try to adapt an attacking style of football play to City, they've got all the resources, all the money to bring those players in, and the board will not waste any time. You know, they can offer 40 million for a player we might only offer 20 million for. You know, if they want that player, they will go out and get him. So what I'm saying is does it not worry you in the next year that a team that isn't really gelling well together at the moment. And you know, for me, I had at the start of the season we were playing really well. I thought, yeah, you know, we could win the league. I was a bit delusional, and I was probably overly positive. But does it not worry you that in the next season, when other teams are going to be able to improve their teams, City are going to be able to improve their team if that's even possible, that we're not going to just be stuck in the same sort of position, and we're going to have a manager that is, you know, his system isn't working. That's sort of what I'm trying to get out here, I suppose.
I'm not worried. I'm a bit cautious to it, but I'm not actually majorly worried.
So what do you think Sarri can do next season that would support your theory that he's still the right man for the job?
Well, I mean, the only thing I've got to say is he's got to change his mind. I mean, the only thing I have against Sarri is that he's very, very stubborn. That's the only thing I've got against him.
Conte was quite stubborn though,
exactly.
wasn't he?
But you need to learn that you need to start playing. You need to play to your strengths, and I think our strengths at the moment is we've got a bundle of youth players that want to get in the team, that will fight for the team, and we know full well, having seen them in small patches on loan, having seen them in small patches playing for us, that we have got the youth team to blow away other competition. And you look at the Youth Cup, I mean, you haven't seen a team dominate youth competition as Chelsea, which can only mean one thing, which means we've got the youth players to do it. And all I need is an experience of first team. All I need to do is get the style that they need to play into the first team.
Well, I suppose what you could do is you could look at the players we have got on loan and see who would fit into his system, not just who's necessarily the best player, just who would fit into his system. Like a bit like what Mourinho did when he brought Matic back and sort of, to me, just launched his career, because now wherever he goes, he's still a big name. We could do that. Who would you like to see back?
Definitely Abraham, because he's a good striker. The only thing wrong is really he's got a very bad first touch, but then again, so does Lukaku, and Lukaku's still doing decent now. He's still known as a very good striker. As long as Abraham can finish, which in the Championship, I know everyone says it's the Championship, but he's proved when you're scoring 20 plus goals in the Championship, that does make a name for yourself. Yeah. Obviously, I'd like to see Odoi get into the team. I mean, everyone wants to see Odoi get into the team. Realistically, I don't see why we kept Willian. I'm not against Willian. I absolutely love Willian, but if the reports were true and Barcelona were reportedly offering 50 plus million for a 30-year-old, I mean, anyone would
when you've got Hudson-Odoi
exactly,
available.
and even then you've got Pedro as well. Like Pedro can play that role as well, and with Pulisic coming in summer as well now, I don't see why you wouldn't have accepted that offer. You know, you've got a right mid coming in, you've got a backup right mid.
Okay, so that's one player we have coming in. The deal's already done, thank goodness, because that could have been awful. But yeah, listen, bottom line, you're still sorry in, I'm still sorry out. We're going to have to see how this plays out. Okay, if we get to the end of the season and we haven't got top four, are you still going to be sorry in?
It really depends, because obviously it depends on how the Europa League goes. If we win the Europa League, we still get Champions League. So
for me though, Sarri has to win a trophy this season.
I don't think he does.
Not for okay. What I mean by that is I don't think the board are going to let him continue to do another season if he doesn't win a trophy.
Yeah, I know what the board like. The board.
This is what I mean externally. I'm just looking at what history says.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, and also people think I'm so critical. I have backed Conte. I have backed Mourinho. I backed every manager we've had, even Di Matteo when he won the Champions League, and then we sort of didn't have much time left when he came back to the bridge for the season after. I still backed him. I still wanted to give him time. I'm just looking at the pattern and what history says, and that is that if they don't win a trophy, they're out. You know, and I just think that we're prolonging the inevitable in this case, and I think we have to win the Europa League. We have to win a trophy this season.
I feel like the problem at this point is, I mean, we can only go through so many managers. If we're constantly sacking managers left, right and centre, who's going to want the Chelsea job?
I completely agree with that too. I completely agree with it. Who else is there left? I mean, people will think it's a little bit delusional to think we're going to get Zidane. I think that would be a really difficult recruitment.
The problem with Zidane, again, I mean, Zidane, you know, he's not really one to be like a yes man. And he's not going to sit there and take anything from the board. Like, he wants to implement his own style. He is not afraid to go in on a player if they're playing bad. And you know, but if Zidane doesn't get the backing, the main problem here, I think the board are the most to blame here because they've not backed the managers. I've said this when Mourinho won the league, they didn't give him all the backing he wanted to sign the players he wanted. We got found out. Mourinho went that season. Conte won the league. Conte wanted more players. Conte didn't get what he wanted. We flopped that season. And then Sarri's come in. He's wanted a complete overhaul with attacking players.
Yeah.
He didn't get that. He only got Jorginho, and now, even though we were doing really well for the first 2-3 months, we've now been found out, and now Sarri's at risk of losing his job, which I don't think he should. So, what's the point in sacking Sarri when he can bring attacking football to us? When we're only going to bring in a new big name manager, the fans are going to be, oh yeah, we love this person, and then he's not going to get what he wants. We're going to play bad football because the style that they want to, the style of football they want to bring in isn't working for us. That manager's then going to be sacked. We're going to call for him. Like, it's just going to be a complete cycle until there's
It's a vicious cycle. I agree with that. I think something at the end of the day has to change to an extent, because there isn't going to be any managers left. And I think, you know, a prime example of what's going well, you know, is Emery going to Arsenal. You know, he's taken a fairly, you know, they've got some great players, but, you know, they're not the most amazing team out there. And he's done a fantastic job for them this season, I think, with what he's had. And that for me is an example of when you bring in a manager and it starts to work. I just think with the Chelsea job, some managers, no matter how good their theory is and no matter how good their vision is, just knowing, you know, what the Chelsea job is, and that's at the end of the day is what the board give you, and it's not exactly what you want. I think it's a very difficult job, and I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for Sarri next season. I think he's going to cause himself an awful lot of stress just still staying at the club, when at the end of the day you're not going to have the players that you want to bring in to implement your style of play. So that is what I think. Thank you, Ben. You've at least he's cheered me up a little bit here, and I do see a lot of your points. It's not about me hating Sarri individually. This is more of a just looking at the overall picture.
At the end of the day, you just got to look at both facts. I mean, you've got to look at the positives and the negatives. I mean, Sarri again, I can see your points as well. I can see what everyone's saying, why Sarri should be sacked. I mean, maybe not as ruthless as that video, but at the end of the day, people will, if you're not getting what you want, people will call for your head. It's just natural selection.
But I still think the points I made in that video are still things that are going wrong now. You know, if you actually look at the points I made, you know, the point, the conclusion might have been very, very harsh, but the points I made are actually still happening in our game yesterday, Sunday against Wolves. So, only time will tell. For me, we have to get top 4 this season, and we have to win a trophy. We have to win the Europa League. That's just the way I see it. So whether we get into the top 4 by winning the Europa League, whatever it may be,
it's just Champions League football is the aim for next season. Obviously.
It has to be. For me, it just absolutely has to be. And I think that would be, how wonderful would it be if we brought back some loan players, some of the youngsters, and they get to play Champions League football, and we see how well we do. You know, you just never know, because I don't see how we would win the Champions League at the moment with the team we've got. I just don't see how it would happen. I think we need another Drogba, we need another Costa, we need another Frank Lampard, somebody to come in. So comment below, guys. Let us know your thoughts. Are you sorry in? Are you sorry out? This was the debate today. I thought it went quite well and smoothly, and it was a calm discussion.
No fights just yet. So
no fighting just yet, Ben, which is great. Please click the subscribe button if you loved this video, guys, and we'll see you all tomorrow for tomorrow's video.